What's going on, everybody? You're listening to the Point2Point NHL Recap Show, Season 3, Episode 18. I'm Pascal Pryor, joined by Mark Havlak. Mark, today we got a full Olympic episode. We're going to be talking about both the men's and the women's ice hockey that's going on at the Olympics. Before we get into all of that, though, what's going on with you?
Not much, bro. I actually been taking in a lot of the Olympic events. I didn't really know how into it I would be, but I don't know about you, dude. Being just like a huge hockey fan, I'm always like mesmerized by the figure skating and like
Yeah.
how good some of these, even the speed skating as well, like how good they are on their edges and stuff like that, and like just how like in sync they can be. So I'm always actually really interested in watching figure skating, and like I love bobsledding as well. I know there's not really, it actually requires a lot more like technique and strategy and strength than a lot of people think, than just like jumping in a tube and floating down 120 kilometers an hour. But even though hockey hasn't really gotten going here, I feel like I've been able to kind of keep myself entertained watching the Olympics. Kind of nice to have something on during the day too, right? So how about you? You been able to catch any events so far, or are you just kind of waiting for the men's hockey to start?
No, I've been watching a bunch so far. I haven't watched too much of the figure skating, but I watched the speed skating yesterday, and when Jake Paul's girlfriend won that event. I've watched some of the snowboarding and skiing. For me, honestly, I find the snowboarding and skiing is pretty fun, especially when it's the like big air and the snowboarding, or it's the freestyle and the skiing where they're kind of going down the hill doing all those tricks and stuff. Even the alpine where they're just ripping it down the hill, man. Like that's pretty crazy. I don't know if you have seen the bobsledding. Did you see the Team USA wipeout or no? That was
Yeah, when only the single guy got in, and the two guys wiped out, and then the third guy almost got in, and then he didn't. That was pretty funny.
like, man, that's tough, dude. But like we've
It's
had some.
hard though, man. Like
Oh, I
it's so
know. Yeah.
hard. Like that people don't realize. Like at first when I was watching, I was younger, I was like, how hard can this really be? Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And then as I've gotten older and just realized, like, I'm like, man, this requires like so much more technique and strength and skill than like you can really tell when you watch it for like the first time.
Yeah, it's definitely been a good Olympics so far, man. Like we're still pretty early on here, but we've had some good stories, some pretty cool things happen. We've also had some like tough stuff to see, like the that USA crash and the Lindsey Vonn stuff. Like that sucked a fair bit because like I think she's like 40, 41 years old, right? So it's her last Olympics, and to go out like that really would must suck. Let's get into the hockey though, and what we're here to talk about. The women's ice hockey at the Olympics, it's well underway with just a few round robin games left. Mark, what are your overall thoughts been on the women's tournament so far?
Well, obviously, over the years, it's basically just been Canada, US playing for gold. I think the last time that it wasn't, Canada beat Sweden in the last Italy Olympics in 2006. I'm a little bit surprised that some of these countries are playing. They're playing a lot better than I anticipated, to be quite honest. Canada, I mean, yesterday they pretty much controlled both their games from start to finish. But I mean, both those teams are kind of hanging in there. And even now, like I feel like with the expansion of the PWHL, there's a lot more players that are somewhat European. Like even the coach of Czechia, I believe is the coach for Ottawa in the PWHL as well. I think they were saying yesterday she stepped away. I don't know if she was dealing with cancer or another medical issue, and she came back. So that was kind of a really good story as well. I do feel at the end of the day, though, it will be a Canada-US final. But I am seeing, like, think about even men's ice hockey, like, I don't know, 20 years ago, maybe even a little bit less than that. Like, today Canada's playing some of these teams and not even destroying them anymore, right? Even in the men's, like you think about the Sochi Olympics, was it Latvia they played and they won 2-1 and their goalie made like 50 plus saves that game. So what I'm trying to say is I feel like other countries besides Canada and the US aren't quite there yet in accordance to competing for the gold medal, but I do think that they are slowly getting better, and maybe within the next 3 to 4 Olympics we might see a different final than Canada US.
Yeah, and I think for the women's game, what kind of changes it a fair bit more to the men's game is for the women's international hockey, you're playing a lot more events than the men's team is. You know what I mean? It's like the men's, like when you look at the Olympic roster that the men's team is going in with, like outside of the Four Nations last year, and even the Four Nations, like there's been some replacements and some swap outs on the men's team. It's like these guys don't play with each other that often, where it's like for the women's teams, they're playing with each other at all these events, right? It's like you have the World Championships, you have some of these rivalry series that they're playing in. So for the women's, it's like they're playing with each other on these teams for a fair bit. Like for Mary Philippe Poulin, like what is this, her fourth Olympics? You know what I mean? It's like a lot of these players she's played with her whole career on the international level. Where for the men's, you don't really get that. So, but I find it very interesting for the women's because it really you get a lot more of the development of your national team. Where I think that does lack a little bit on the men's side, where it's on the men's side, it's really you got all these really great individual players playing for their respective clubs coming together for a quick event, and half the time the top players aren't at the World Championships, right? Because you got the NHL playoffs going on. So I almost enjoy the women's international a bit more because it really is like it reminds me of soccer where it really is like a whole program that's going on here. For me, to be honest, the two things that I've really noticed with the women's hockey so far at the Olympics is first of all the physicality. It's like for anybody out there that's like, oh, I don't want to watch women's hockey because they don't hit. It's like, man, like it's been pretty physical so far in the tournament. There's been some hits where I'm like, holy shit, like that's got to be a penalty, no, and it's no call, which I think is very fun to see. It adds a whole other element for the women's hockey. And then the other thing that I've found kind of interesting, Mark, is I know earlier you were saying, look, it's kind of Canada, USA. Hey, Sweden, I think they've looked great so far in this tournament. Yeah, their group that they're in maybe isn't as strong as the other group, but the two leading scorers on the women's side, Tia Tia Johansson and Hannah Olesen, both these women don't play in the PWHL. One plays over in Sweden in the professional women's Swedish league, and the other right now is playing in the NCAA. And when I go through the whole list of the top scores here at this tournament, there's a lot of European players who aren't playing in the PWHL, and I kind of wonder, it's like, will we see some of these players maybe transfer over to the PWHL, especially as the PWHL is growing and they're looking at expanding again in this summer. So I think it is interesting seeing, for me, a lot of these European players who I don't really know much about since they're not playing in the PWHL. I think it's interesting seeing them on this international level and how good they are. And it's like, oh man, like I wonder if they could go to the PWHL and maybe be a top player over there. Mark, moving on to Team Canada. We're Canadians here, right? You got the Team Canada hat on. We gotta rep our country. What have your thoughts been on Team Canada so far in this tournament?
Yeah, I think for the most part, they have been playing pretty good. I thought I didn't really get to catch the whole first game. I watched most of the game yesterday. I felt like in the first game, even though they did get a shutout, they did kind of have some defensive lapses in their game where their goalie did bail them out a couple times. Not that I thought they would have lost the game or anything like that, but it definitely could have been a bit tighter of a game if their goalie didn't make a couple big saves. Yesterday, for the most part, they looked pretty good. I mean, they got off to a pretty good start, and they kind of put it out of reach pretty early, like especially Czechia pulling their goalie 10 minutes into the game after that third goal. But it's tough now. I'm kind of, I don't know what to think without Poulin right now. Like it's I know we were talking earlier and you're saying like her tournament hasn't probably been up to par compared to what she's done in the past, but dude, she's just that type of player that can probably disappear for a game or two. And then it's like Sid, dude. Like, it's not like every single game Sid plays unreal, right? Like, but what Sid does is when he's not showing up, he shows up like after a game or two,
Yeah,
right? And he does something big. And that's kind of what I see when I watch Marie-Philippe Poulin. So, the one thing I will say is I'm hoping it's not a big injury considering it's lower body. I think it has something to do with her right leg of the way I saw that contact of that hit. But the one positive is she is not putting all of her weight on it, but she is able to put weight on it. Like, right? Like
yeah,
I'm not thinking it's like a broken bone or anything like that. Now, I don't know if you were watching the game yesterday from the beginning or not, but early on before Canada scored, they killed a 5-on-3. They took a penalty, and then I think it was Renata Faust. She rushed it up shorthanded. And then the play went the other way, and she was flying back like so fast. And then she kind of stopped up and then still kind of gave the body a bit into the boards. But it was like you could clearly tell like she was trying to give the body, but like, like it wasn't a huge charge. Like she
Yeah.
really stopped. Still got the penalty, which gave it the 5-on-3. And I really wonder if that pissed off Czechia. And that's why they started going after Poulin. They went after Sarah Fillier too, once as well, who's one of their best players. So I do love the physicality in the game, but I wonder if that did kind of set Czechia off a little bit. But I don't really anticipate Poulin being out for the whole tournament. I feel like she's going to be back at some point because
Yeah.
I hate to say this is a big game today. We're recording this on Tuesday, Canada, US. But at the end of the day, dude, if you lose today, your tournament's not over, right?
Yeah.
We've seen this happen so many times. So it's almost like maybe save her until it's really necessary. You know what I mean? If it's kind of maybe she was even questionable to play today, and they're just like, you know what? No, just don't do it. Like we don't want you to get hurt for a potential matchup with these guys in the finals, right?
Yeah.
But I think for the most part, Canada's looking good. I really like their goaltending. I think their goaltending's been really good so far this
Phenomenal.
tournament. And I feel that you could say, yeah, they haven't been playing good teams, whatever. Dude, I don't know. We were ripping Jordan Binnington when Canada was up 5-1 and they won 5-4 against Finland in the Four Nations, right? Like, you don't really talk about it. It's either it's talked about in a negative way or it's almost like not even talked about at times, right? It's like a goalie can make 20 saves and you win 5-1. It's like, oh, the goalie wasn't really the reason they won. It's like true, but if they didn't play well, that could have been a 5-4 game. And then
Yep.
we'd be talking about that game so differently, right? So I kind of look in that sense that I'm almost leading up to like the playoffs. It's like, how is Canada's goaltending looking? Both of them have looked pretty good so far. So, I mean, once you get in a matchup with like a high flying offense like the States, like at least you're somewhat prepared and in a rhythm when you're heading into that game.
Yeah, I think this game later on today it's a massive game to see where Canada's at because to be honest, like I feel like the tournament for them so far has been a bit weird where they have played some of these teams that maybe aren't as great. So I feel like we haven't really been able to see what Canada fully is like. Like, look, defensively, and I think their goaltending it has been pretty good so far in this tournament. They've only given up one goal against, right? Like you can't complain there. For me, where I'm looking at this team right now is their offensive power. It's like you look at Team USA, they got 15 goals throughout the tournament so far, right? Sweden, they lead the tournament with 18 goals so far. You got Italy and Germany, who both have 8 goals so far in this tournament. They're actually playing against each other right now as we're speaking. Team Canada, they only got 9 goals so far in this tournament, right? Like,
It is only 2 games, though, dude. You have to remember they had a postponed game. Like some of these teams
yeah,
have, like USA has played a third game, right? Like if Canada beats Sweden like 5-1, like I don't even think, and they played that game, I don't even think we'd be having this conversation.
I agree. For me, it's just I want to see where I just want to see where their scoring's at. Like so far in this tournament, I don't there hasn't really been anybody on Team Canada so far that I've really seen. I'm like, oh man, they're about to take this tournament over. Like
I can't
they're
lie
about
to
to
you,
take it
dude.
over.
I kind of disagree, and I think that's Sarah Fillier. I think she's fucking money, dude, and I think she's gonna show up in the big moments.
See, I think she has too. I think she has looked good this tournament, but I wouldn't say she's taken the tournament over so far. I think at some
No, no,
point,
I
to be
agree.
honest,
I agree.
she could, but I do think this game for Team Canada playing USA, it's like it is one of those games where it's like, especially with MPP out, it's like who's going to step up and really put the team on their back here for Team Canada. Because I know we've seen it happen in the past, right? Like Sarah Nurse, she had an unbelievable tournament a couple years ago, 18 points, something like that in the tournament, right? Like we haven't really seen anybody fully on pace for a tournament like that for Team Canada. I think Sarah Fillier could do that. To be honest, if I was a betting man, which I am, like I'd put my money on her doing that for Team Canada. But I do want to see in this game today against the U.S. like what does Team Canada really look like against one of the top dogs here at this tournament. Mark, I want to ask you and move on into our predictions here. Who are your predictions for bronze, silver, and gold on the women's side?
Yeah, this is a tough one. I think that Sweden is showing that they're really good, and I think that once they do play a Canada or a US, like we will be pretty shocked, and it will probably be a
Yeah.
better game than we've anticipated in the past. I do think they're probably going to bronze. I'm not quite sure yet if they are good enough to beat a Canada or a US. I mean, it is one game, and anything can happen, and we've seen that before. I can't lie to you, dude, and I hate to say this. I have a weird feeling that the States are going to win the gold in
Yeah,
women's.
they've looked good so far.
They've looked really good. They've got a very deep roster, and I think that they're just going to outscore Canada. That's honestly what I think it's going to come down to. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen today, right? Like sometimes we see whoever wins the round robin, it's hard to beat them again, right? Like once the
Yep.
playoffs come, talk about the World Juniors, Canada beating Czechia, and then Czechia beating Canada again. Um, I don't know, dude. I hate to say it, but if I had to bet, I think I would bet that USA's winning as much as I want Canada to win.
Yeah, see, I kind of have that feeling as well, especially with MPP out. It's like that's a pretty big loss for Canada, and like even if she does come back for the playoffs of the tournament, it's like who knows what she's going to be at, right? Like is she going to be at 100%, 95%? Is she even going to be lower than that at like 80, 75%, right? Like we don't really know what we're going to be getting from her when she does come back. Like she's going to compete, of course. I'm not saying she's not going to be competing, but it's like how effective will she be able to be coming back from this injury that she sustained last game? For me, I think Sweden, just with how good they've looked, I do think they will medal in this tournament, and I got them getting a bronze medal. And then similar to what you said, dude, I think the USA has just looked so good so far in this tournament. I got them winning the gold right now, and I got Canada finishing with the silver medal.
Is this not a crazy stat to you? Sarah Fillier's got 2 goals in 2 games, 10 goals in 9 career Olympic games, and in accordance to goals in Olympic history, she's already top 20 all time. And she's going to turn
20,
26 this year.
Yeah, 25 years old, 2000 birth year. Well, I think, like, to be honest, the more I look at, like, the Sarah Fillier having a, she's looked like Canada's probably best player so far at the tournament. Like, MPP, what? She's 34 years old, I believe, right? Next Olympics are in 4 years, so what? She'll be 38 then. Like, to be honest, she probably will be playing in that tournament. But I almost look at this tournament for Team Canada and I'm like, is this almost going to be kind of a passing? Like, could it be a passing of the torch from MPP to Sarah Fillier, where it's like Canada's kind of looking at Sarah Fillier like, okay, she probably is the top performer on this
I think,
team.
if anything, that might be the next tournament. I think it might be a little bit premature, obviously, depending on Poulin's injury and if she actually is able to come back. But I think she's dynamite. Remember, we were talking about her a couple of years ago before she was
Yeah,
even drafted.
when she
Remember, I
was
was
at
saying that,
Princeton.
and yeah, she was at Princeton lighting it up. And I was like, dude, this fucking girl is like going to be unreal. Like, she's
Yeah.
scoring over a goal a game in like university hockey. Like, it's pretty unheard of, right? And she's pretty local to around here too. So it is cool to see, but hopefully it is enough for Canada to get it done, dude. As much as I do think the States will win, I really hope they don't.
Oh, dude, I really hope they don't either, because if the USA wins on the men's and women's side, oh man, that's gonna be miserable as a Canadian just hearing all that. But yeah, for me, this tournament so far, it's been money, man. I can't wait for it to get into the playoffs of the tournament and then for the men's to start up, because it's like well, what are you gonna watch, right? I want to ask you one more thing, Mark, about the women's ice hockey here before we move on to the men's hockey. I know leading into the tournament for both the men's and women's, there's a lot of discussion about the ice size. How do you think it's been?
Hasn't really been too noticeable to me. I feel like it's
Yeah.
going to be a more of a judgment once the men play as well. But just because I'm more used to watching NHL compared to the PWHL, but I don't really notice much, dude. Has anyone even said anything about it yet?
No,
Like, I
no,
think
I
this is
haven't
just a
noticed
way
anything.
overblown topic, to be honest. It's like, dude, the problem I have with complaining about it is it's like, what advantage is it? Like, it's an equal playing
Yeah,
field for everybody. Like,
yeah,
there's no team that's getting an advantage. If anything, I would argue the European teams are at a disadvantage because they're so used to playing on a bigger ice
bigger.
surface, and
Yeah,
now they got to play NHL players on a smaller ice. Like, I think if anything, this benefits NHL players.
yeah. For me, when I've been watching the women's hockey so far, I have not been watching it and going, man, that rink is small, dude. Like, oh my God. It's like I've been watching. I'm like, man, this is some good hockey I'm watching. I don't think anybody's watching the Olympics right now for hockey and being like, oh my God, dude, this rink is terrible. The one thing I will say though is I have seen some videos online of like fans at the games, and I think one per like, because the rink, it's not the nicest in terms of fan experience, and I think what did the one person say? The one person on TikTok said, "I'm here at the shed." They were calling it a shed. I was like, oh man, that would kind of suck a little bit flying across the world to go watch your team play international hockey and the fan experience just isn't there. But for us watching on TV, I think it's been great so far. Moving on to the men's side, the tournament is getting started Wednesday with two games. Mark, how excited are you for this to get going?
100%, dude. I've been enjoying watching the women's, but I'm really excited for tomorrow for the men's to get going. I mean, Canada's not playing until Thursday, but I believe the first matchup is Slovakia, Finland. Like, I think that's
Yeah,
not going to be too bad of a game. And I'm honestly, Canada, Czechia, dude. I know it's been at a junior level, but they've been our
they're
fucking
rivals,
nemesis,
dude.
dude. I do not anticipate this being an easy game at all. Um, they've actually been really good internationally recently. Getting that, was it? Did they win gold at the World Championships last year?
It
USA
was
won this past year, but wasn't
it
it?
was two
Didn't they
years
win the year
ago.
before? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I think they won gold. Latvia won bronze or something like that.
yeah.
So I don't know, man. I can't lie to you. I'm a little bit scared for the first game. Like, it's just like, dude, if Lucas Dostel puts up one of his
If
performances,
he's
like,
kicking, man,
we
yeah,
might be fucked. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it could be one of those like Latvia games from 2014 when that guy just made like 55 saves, right? And I mean, I understand their whole team isn't filled with NHLers, but they've got some ex NHL guys. They've got some pretty good NHL players right now. Like, you're telling me David Pastrnak can't take over a game? You know what I mean?
yep.
Marty Necas. Philip Hronek's looked really good with Vancouver ever since Quinn Hughes has been out the door. So I don't really anticipating that being an easy matchup, but I mean, for the rest of the tournament as well, like I'm pretty excited, dude. The one reason I love some of these tournaments, dude, is just like you get those random games where it's like, how the hell did that team beat that team?
Yeah, how did
Or
this
how the
happen?
hell did they take them to overtime? And I love that, man. I think it's the most exciting part about not just the Olympics, but like international hockey in general. And like you never know, dude. There could be a smaller nation here that does something, and it just really grows the game for them.
Yeah, for me, dude, I cannot wait for this tournament to get started. I know last night, like, I usually have Mondays off from work, right? So Mondays, I'm always watching those Amazon Prime hockey games, and I love watching them. But of course, last night, you don't have that. The Olympics, with the time change, it's all during the day. So it's like 5 o'clock, dude. I'm like, fucking, like, what am I gonna watch tonight, man? There's nothing to watch. I could just watch replays of the Olympics. So I opened up YouTube and I was kind of scrolling through YouTube, seeing what was on there. And CBC did like an hour long kind of documentary episode, whatever you want to call it, of the kind of Canada USA hockey rivalry for the men's side. So I was like, oh, this looks pretty interesting. You know what? Like, it's hockey related. It's better than watching some shitty ass YouTube video, right? So I turned that on, dude. Man, I was, I was so ready. Like, I'm so ready for this tournament to get started, dude. I cannot wait because they had clips of previous Olympics, the Four Nations face off last year in it, right? And just watching all those clips, the Crosby goal in 2010 in Vancouver, I'm like, man, like fucking, I can like, we have not had a tournament like this in way too long, right? Like the Four Nations face off last year, it was great, but it wasn't the Olympics. It wasn't a true best on best tournament. We're finally about to get that after years of waiting for hockey fans. It's like McDavid. We're about to see this guy play a true best on best tournament for the first time in his entire career. Same with guys like McKinnon, right? Like Celebrini, the kid's 19 years old, making his debut at the Olympics, youngest Olympian on Team Canada for hockey ever, right? Like I cannot wait for these Olympics to get ready, Mark. Or I cannot wait for these Olympics to get going, Mark. Let's go through. I want to go through all the groups now, though, and do a little standings prediction for each group because it is a little bit of a weird format on the men's side there with the three groups and how everything's going to kind of play out for the playoffs. So, Mark, starting off with Group A, you got Canada, Czechia, Switzerland, France. Working your way from the bottom up, how do you think the standings are going to go over in that group?
Yeah. And I just want to say for our listeners, if you're not quite sure on how this works, when Pascal is saying it's a different structure, every team technically will move on past the round robin,
Yeah.
and the top four teams, I guess it would be the three group winners plus another team will get a bye to the quarterfinals, and
Yeah.
then there's like a qualification round. I think they get reseeded 5 through 12, and then the winners of those games will play some of the top teams that already made it onto the quarters. So in Group A, we got France, Switzerland, Czechia, Canada. From the bottom, I mean, France, no doubt, is one of the weaker teams in this tournament. They only got one active NHL player, Alexander Texier, on their team. Um, I don't really anticipating them being very good. I could see them maybe being in one of these games and maybe not being totally blown out, but I don't really have a lot of high expectations for them, to be quite honest. I'm sure they're going to put up a
Yeah.
good fight, but I think that the lack of skill will probably get the worst of them. Excuse me. So I've got them finishing fourth. Now, the third place spot, uh, Czechia and Switzerland to me are like kind of similar.
Yeah, they
Like,
are.
I'd say Czechia maybe has got a little. Would you say they have a little bit more firepower? Because like the thing with Switzerland too, it's like you got Yossi, you got Heischer. Like I
You
know
got
they're not as good as
Meyer, you got
Pasta.
Fiala.
They're not as good as Pasta, but I
Yeah.
mean like they've got some good talent, right? So I anticipating that being a really good game. But if I had to put my money on it, I'd have Switzerland coming in third, and then I think Canada, as much as I'm nervous about it, I think they will beat Czechia and finish 3-0 in the round robin. So I've got Czechia finishing second.
Yeah, for me, Mark, it's kind of similar to you. I got France. I got them finishing fourth. I think in this group, I I think France could finish without a point based off how this group is. In third, I'm gonna go with Czechia, dude. See, when you look at Switzerland versus Czechia, I see what you're saying about the firepower thing, and I'd say Czechia, like their top end firepower, maybe is a bit better, but I think Switzerland maybe has a bit more of those players. So I'm going with Czechia finishing third, Switzerland finishing second, and then Team Canada. Look, I think they're going to go 3-0 in the round robin as well. I got them finishing first here. Moving on to Group B, Mark, you got Slovakia, Finland, Sweden, and then the host nation, Italy. Look, I look at Italy and like I think they're going to finish at the bottom of this group here and finish fourth. But I do think it's interesting because the way this Italy team's been built, like it's a lot of players that have played professionally overseas, or like there's a lot of Italian Canadian players on this team that have played in the OHL or in the QMJHL or WHL right at some point in their careers. So it is going to be interesting to see like what the Italian team really looks like. But at the end of the day, I do think in a group with Finland, Sweden, Slovakia, I do think they will finish fourth. Moving on to third in that division, I think it's going to be Slovakia. I just think when you have Finland and Sweden, they have a bit too much firepower in that group, and I think they'll be the top two teams. So I got Slovakia in third. In second, I got Finland. I just think not having Barkov there at that tournament, it's a big loss. When you compare Sweden and Finland, I do think Sweden just has a bit more firepower. And to be honest, the way some of their goalies have been playing, like I think Jasper Wallstead could come in, start a game, and finish the
But
tournament
here's
as
the
their
thing,
starting
dude.
goalie,
As of right now, I don't even think he's their backup. What I've been
which
seeing,
is
it's Jacob Markstrom.
which is crazy, which
I don't
is
get it.
insane to me. I got Finland finishing second though in that group, and then winning the group. I got I got Sweden. To be honest though, I don't know with this group if it's like Sweden is gonna finish 3-0. Like I could see Slovakia or Finland maybe taking Sweden to OT, and you have Sweden winning the group, but not with the full 9 points. Mark, what do your standings look like for Group B?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with you with the Italy factor. I think the reason for that is I was saying a lot of people are going to play in Italy, and even if they're not Italian, and if they play there for so long, they can like
You
apply
get
for
citizenship,
citizenship,
yeah.
and then you can basically apply to be on Team Italy,
Yeah,
right? And so I mean, I get what you're saying. There's a lot of guys that are either Canadian or American that are on the team that will probably put up a pretty good fight. But yeah, I kind of envision the same thing as France. Like I kind of feel like they'll probably be in a game, and like the other two, they might get blown out, like kind of bad, like maybe close to 10-0 or something like that.
yeah.
So I've got Italy finishing fourth. Now you might find this kind of interesting, but I have a weird feeling that Slovakia is going to beat Finland, and Finland's going to finish in third. I
Honestly, I don't
felt
hate
that.
that.
I think that Finland, and look, I understand last year you didn't have Heiskanen at Four Nations. This year you don't
Yeah,
have Barkov. I will say I think that Finland is like a lot closer to like a Czechia tier than they are to like a Sweden, Canada,
yeah,
USA tier.
yep,
And I don't know if that's crazy to say considering that their entire team is NHLers except for one guy. But the one thing that makes me nervous about Finland, dude, is I love Saros, but man, has he been very off his game the past year and a half to 2 years, right? They went through him, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, Kevin Lankinen last year. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen's not going. Korpisalo's going for him. I can't lie to you, dude. I'm not super confident in their goaltending right now.
yep.
That center depth as well without Barkov is looking worse. It's not
It
that good.
hurts.
Now they're getting Heiskanen. They didn't have Heiskanen last year. I'm going to be honest with you, dude. I would not be one. If I could put a bet right now, I would put Miro Heiskanen is going to lead the tournament in ice time because I honestly think he's going to be playing 30 plus minutes a game. Because besides him and Lindell, it's a significant drop off,
Yeah,
bro.
it
Like
is.
I don't mind Rasmus Ristolainen and Nico Mikkola, but like you can't tell me that you wouldn't prefer Heiskanen out there playing half the game, right? So yeah, it's not that I don't see like Finland finishing second and beating Slovakia, but this is the kind of upset I've got. You know what I mean? We're talking about tournaments that have upsets. I kind of see this happening in Slovakia finishing in second, and I think Sweden. I don't know. They might get like an OT loss or something, but I think that this group they can go through pretty well. Like
Yeah.
it's not an easy group, but it's like at the same time, I don't really see them. I don't see them losing to Finland or Slovakia. I really don't.
Yeah, and the other thing too that I want to mention for this tournament as we're doing our standings predictions here is they are going with like it is a 3-2-1. It is a 3-2-1 for the way the standings work, right? So it's 3 points for a win, 2 points if you win in OT, 1 point for a loss in OT, and then of course zero if you lose in regulation. So with the way it's working, where you have the top four teams getting the bye to the quarterfinals, like that 3-2-1 rule really could play a factor here for that fourth team that gets the bye, right? Moving on to Group C, personally, Mark, I think this is probably the weakest out of the three groups here in the tournament. What do your standings look like for this group?
It is weak, but I would say that they don't have like the weakling teams. Like I mean,
Yeah,
every team in this group is probably better than an Italy or a France.
yeah.
And I will say I don't necessarily. Would you say that? Would you be that surprised if USA went 3-0, but like didn't blow anybody out? Like I could see maybe like a 4-5-0, but I don't really anticipate them going in and winning like 10-0. To be quite honest.
Yeah, like maybe Latvia they blow out. Like Denmark, you don't really they could, but like with Freddie,
Yeah.
it's like what does that look like?
So I mean, I think this is an interchangeable group, kind of from 2 to 4. But the way I've got it, I've got Denmark 4, Latvia 3, Germany 2, USA 1.
Yeah, for me, I got Latvia 4, Denmark 3, Germany 2, USA 1. The thing I will say about this group though that I've going into the tournament, I really kind of have my eyes on is like based off what we just said, right now we got Canada, Sweden, United States finishing 1, 2, 3 in the tournament. Mark, who do you think is going to finish fourth though and get that get that last bye to the quarterfinals?
Right now, based off of what I predicted, this might sound kind of crazy. I'm gonna say Germany.
See, dude, that's exactly what I was thinking today when I was doing the prep for the show. I'm like, based off how that like Group C is, like I think Germany could beat Latvia and Denmark in regulation, finish with 6 points, and be that fourth place team in the tournament and get the bye. Like it does sound crazy when you go, but it's like when you got Finland, Slovakia there, it's like maybe maybe those games go to overtime and you that's where the
Yeah,
three
that's
two
exactly
one
what I'm
comes into.
thinking.
Yeah, I,
Like
I
I could
love
see
it, man.
Czechia, Switzerland going to OT, or like I'm
Yeah,
talking about Finland, Slovakia, or like fuck, maybe Sweden wins one of their three if they win 3 games. Maybe one of those is an OT, right? I kind of agree with you, dude. I don't think Latvia and Denmark are bad. They've got some solid NHL
yeah,
players. Denmark's got Freddie Anderson, Ehlers. Latvia, I mean, they don't have the greatest roster, but I mean, they've got two NHL goalies, Seelovs and Elvis, right?
yep,
Like so I don't think they're bad teams, but I will say I think that like, look, it's not just Draisaitl. You got Draisaitl, you got Stutzel, you got
Tuchel,
JJ
Paterka,
Paterka, you got Moritz Seider, you've got.
yep,
Honestly, I fucking ripped the shit out of the guy. Philip Grubauer's playing great this year,
yeah, he
right?
has been.
Like I could see him stealing a game or two. So I really like Germany, to be honest, in this tournament. I
Yeah,
don't really anticipating maybe they do get to a semifinals and shock us and go for a medal. I think it'd be a bit of a stretch to say that they're going to win the tournament right now, but I
oh
mean,
yeah,
they're kind of my dark horse. Them and Czechia, I really have my eyes on to. I have a feeling that one of those two teams is going to make the semifinals, is what I'll say. Germany or
yeah.
Czechia.
For me, honestly, it's Germany, dude. I'm all on board that these guys are gonna make some noise here at the tournament. Just based off like I think you can make an argument that out of all the, let's say, like middle of the pack teams, I think you can make a pretty decent argument that Germany might have the top firepower in the tournament. Like you were kind of saying that between Switzerland and Czechia. Like to be honest, like if I'm throwing Germany in there, like Germany, they might not have as much of a complete team as a Switzerland or a Czechia, but like, hey, I'd take the top four players on Germany probably over the top four players on Switzerland or Czechia, right? Like,
Well, it's like, dude, the top four players are like basically. I don't know if you consider Paterka an elite NHL player, but I mean he's starting to be on his way, right? Like to being a really good winger in this league. But you look at Stutzel, you look at Sider, you look at Draisaitl, like these are elite NHL players, dude. Like they're
yeah,
not even just like good NHL players. Like they're difference makers on their team. Like I've been drumming the horse that Sider should be getting Norris votes this
yep,
year, right? Timmy Stutzel's been playing really good lately. Draisaitl's Draisaitl. And it's like I was nervous earlier in the year. I'm like, oh fuck, well, Grubauer's been shit for 3 years. Like they need him. I'm sorry. As much as we're talking about the star power, like you need your goalie to play
you
well in
do.
this tournament. It's non-negotiable, right? Every team that's going to win, they're going to get good goaltending at some point, right? So I'm more sold on this team that Philip Grubauer is looking like he did 5 years ago.
Yeah, I think Germany's gonna beat Latvia and Denmark both in regulation and go for that fourth place spot in the tournament. Mark, I want to get to the big question now for the men's side. Who is going to win the bronze, silver, and gold at this tournament?
Yeah, this is tough because it really the one thing I don't know the answer to, and I don't know if you do. So once the quarterfinals hits, after that, is it like reseeding
Yeah,
once
because
they
you
get to the semis? Because that's one thing that's going to matter, I think, in accordance to like playoff matchups.
so
So go ahead, go ahead.
I got the quarterfinals in front of me. Quarterfinals, the first team plays the winner of eighth versus ninth. Second plays the winner of seventh versus 10th. Third plays the winner of sixth versus 11th.
Yeah,
And fourth plays the winner of fifth versus 12th. So it doesn't look like they're going to reseed. So, like, if the 12th place team wins
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, if you finish, like let's say Germany does finish fourth and Italy finishes 12th, or let's say France finishes 12th. If France wins that playing game against Finland or Czechia, like whoever it may be, like Germany who finishes fourth is going to play that 12th place team and might like
yeah.
potentially could have the easiest quarterfinals
I think the reason
matchup,
they do
right?
that is they ideally think, okay, the top teams, the top seeded teams are going to win, and then if they do, it's like
Yeah.
you have a 1-8, 2-7, 3-6, right? So I mean, it doesn't really narrow down in accordance to like the way it would go because realistically, Canada and US can win the groups, but you don't really know who's going to finish first and second and third, right? When you go to whole reseed it before the playoff starts. All right, I'm going to spit this out to you. USA bronze. Czechia silver, Canada gold.
That's so you don't even have USA making it to the finals. See, I think Canada's gonna win gold, and then the silver bronze is where it kind of gets me. Based off what as you were talking there, Mark, I was kind of reading a bit more here. Based off what it looks like for the semifinals, they are going to reseed.
Okay.
Based off that, I think USA.
It doesn't really matter though right now though, because we don't know what's going to happen. What if Canada and US win their groups and they're 2 and 3 and Sweden's won, right? Like then they're playing in the semis. Like I'm more envisioning when I'm thinking about this now, I honestly see Czechia beating US in the semis. That's what my mind went to. And then I would say probably a Canada Sweden semis on the other side. And I got Canada winning, and then a kind of a USA Sweden bronze and a Canada Czechia gold.
See, I'm gonna stick with Canada winning gold. I'm gonna say Sweden gets the silver, and then USA gets the bronze.
Okay, I mean, I could totally see that happening. It's obviously going to really matter in accordance to the matchups once they get reseeded and stuff like that. But I really anticipate a big tournament from Czechia, dude. I really do. I think that they've got the means to go all the way, and I think they could realistically upset any team in this tournament. I really do. As much as they're not as skilled as them, I think that they've got the determination and they've got the experience, dude. Like they've won a world championship before. Like this is nothing really new to them, dude. I know they're not playing the same caliber of talent, but I mean, you never know what can happen, right?
Mark, moving on to our predictions for some of these players. I don't believe the Olympics does this. I might be incorrect though. Mark, we got forward of the tournament, defenseman of the tournament, and goaltender of the tournament. We're going to hand out those awards personally. We will at the end of the tournament. Predicting it though, who do you think is going to get each of those awards?
Throw me on the spot here. I'm going to go goalie first. And since I've got them going so far and doing well, I'm going to go Lucas Dostal.
Okay.
Because he's a guy that I envision potentially. Because the way I'm thinking about this too a little bit is like, how many of these teams do you think are gonna like? Do you think USA's running Hellebuck all 3 games, or do you think Ottinger's getting a start? Like Canada, we're already question marks about Binnington, right? Like is Thompson? They've got a back-to-back in there. Is he getting a start? Sweden. I don't really know what's going to happen. Maybe, honestly, Philip Gustafsson probably would have been another bet of mine. I have a feeling that Dostal is going to be ran with a lot, and I think that his experience and his pedigree, that he can show up in big moments, and I could totally see him taking home an award like this. Now, I can't really think off the top of my head for D and forward. I think we should kind of go back and forth. If you had to pick a goalie to win this award, who would you pick?
Call me crazy. I'm going with Philip Grubauer, though, dude.
Like that's not a bad idea. That's not a bad pick.
I legit think Germany is going to make the semifinals, probably lose to Canada in the semifinals, but Philip Grubauer will have played amazing in the round robin and quarterfinals, and that's going to be part of the reason why they get to the semifinals. And the other thing is, like as you mentioned, like for a lot of these bigger teams, it's like these goalies probably aren't going to play the whole tournament. Where it's like if you're Team Germany, like you're riding Philip Grubauer, dude. Like you kind of have to, right? So I'm going with Philip Grubauer as goaltender of the tournament.
That's not a bad pick, dude. I didn't really think about him, but I mean, as I said, I think Germany's going to do pretty well, but could see him standing there at the end on the podium maybe. For defense, I mean, this is tough, dude. There's so many good defensemen in this tournament.
Yeah.
One guy I'm going to go with, and I feel like they're not really, in accordance to what I saw with the lines, they're not going to utilize him as much, but I think his tournament will get better as it goes along. I'm going to go with Zach Werenski. I think he's been really good this year for
Yeah.
Columbus. Right now, he's playing on the third pair. I don't know what the fuck is going on with that. But I just envision him playing really well, kind of going up the lineup. Dude, he might even, I know it's Quinn Hughes, but like, dude, he might even get some shots on that first power play,
Yep.
right? Like at times, depending what they need, right? If they need more of a shot from the point, maybe it's him. I mean, if it's more for creativity and playmaking, it could be Quinn Hughes, right? But I think Zach Werenski can have a big tournament, dude. He's having a big fucking year this year with Columbus.
Yeah. For me, defenseman of the tournament, that's tough, man. Like I'm kind of leaning towards somebody on Sweden or Canada, which is kind of the safe pick here. I do like the Zach Werenski pick. Just for me, it's between two guys here, man. I'm kind of thinking Forsling or Kale McCarr will be defenseman of the tournament. To be
Wow.
honest, I'm kind of leaning Forsling though.
My other thought was going to be Darlene,
Dahlin's another good one.
just because I think he's going to be put in more situations than Forsling.
Yeah. I just think with Forsling though, it's like the matchups he's going to be playing against and like really having that big shutdown role. Like I think Dahlin is going to be a lot more like not he is good defensively. I'm not saying that he's not, but I think he's going to be more of the offensive provider on that back end. Where for Forsling, it's going to be like go out and just play against every team's top line and shut these guys down, right? Like I think I'm going to go with Forsling for defenseman of the tournament.
Okay, that's not honestly. I could see that. I mean, especially if they win gold, they shut some guys down. He could
Yeah,
definitely be worthy of that award. For forward of the tournament, you might call me a little bit crazy for this, dude. I'm gonna go with Macklin Celebrini, dude. I actually think he's gonna have a massive
I
fucking
like
tournament,
that
dude.
dude.
And he's
I like
playing with
that.
McDavid right now.
And
McDavid,
Tom Wilson,
Celebrini,
dude.
Tom Wilson. I kind of like this. Like, what do you think about their lines right now? Like, a lot of people are ripping them. The one thing I
Fucking
will
love him,
say,
dude.
though, the one thing I will say is I actually think every line can score
I think
goals.
every line can score. Every line is like great defensively. I think Canada's third line looks like the best third line in the tournament right now, to be honest.
Here's the one thing I will say, though. I do not think Suzuki, McKinnon, Marchand is going to work. I don't think either of those players can keep up with McKinnon. I think they're going to end up switching someone out for a guy that has more speed.
I thought, was that the second line?
So right now they got Celebrini, McDavid, Wilson, Suzuki, McKinnon, Marchand, Stone, Crosby, Marner, and Hagel, Horvat, Reinhart.
See, I'd switch Marner and Suzuki.
Yeah, I'm not really like as much as I love Suzuki. I don't really think he should be in the
Yeah,
top six. Like, and I'm kind of surprised he's not playing center. Like Sid is playing third line center right now. He played a
which I love.
decent amount of wing
Which I
right
love.
last tournament. But yeah, the one thing I'll say about Canada, dude, is like I look at our wingers and it's like I don't even like. Is Tom Wilson the worst defensive winger on the team? And he's like not even that bad. Like I look
Probably.
at Celebrini, he's a good two-way winger. Suzuki, great two-way.
Yeah.
Marchand, Stone, Marner, Hagel, Reinhart.
Yep.
We've got some really good defensive forwards on this team, dude. Like
Yeah.
I understand the way they built this team, but the one thing I'll say is I don't love that second line. Like, not that I don't love the second line. It's just like I feel like McKinnon needs some certain guys to play with. Maybe you keep Marchand because it's like a guy he's familiar with and he can play a
Yeah.
different role. But I'd be more looking for like a speedy guy instead of Suzuki in the second line. Like I think that would have been a great spot for like Braden Point, right?
Yeah, I think it would have been. And I do wonder if maybe you switch up Marner and put him up and you put Suzuki down.
Do you think maybe Jarvis could take a spot like that?
I could see that as well, dude. To be honest, though, I am wondering if part of the reason why you're putting Suzuki on that line is if you look at it and you're like, hey, you let Nate Dogg and Marchand just run around there free and you got Suzuki there to help them out. But like Suzuki on that line is really maybe the more of the shutdown defensive player there, right? Like I do wonder if that's kind of where they're looking at that maybe a little bit. But I do
I
think
know, I
those,
know. Cooper loves Suzuki. I know
yeah,
that, so I think he's just kind of trying to give him an opportunity, and maybe it works, dude. Maybe, but that's like the only critique in these lines that I really
yeah,
have right now. And honestly, if they do split up the first line, I would love them to try Celebrini, McDavid, Marner. I think that would be
yeah.
such an interesting line. But overall, like I like it. It's so deep. You can put out any line, and I'm not really nervous about what could go on. Like Sam Reinhart's a great defensive winger, right?
Yeah, he can also shoot the hell out of the
Hagel's a
puck.
fucking dog. I'm sorry, but like Hagel does not get enough credit for how good he
Yep.
is, and he's a great two-way winger. So it's like we're gonna let in goals, but I'm not really concerned about like our defensive play from our forwards
See,
at all.
I'll be honest, dude. For me, I think the that first line on Team Canada, I think that's a one line throughout the tournament that will not get shuffled around and touched.
So you
Like
just think Tom Wilson is the guy for
playing with
McDavid?
McDavid, without a doubt.
Now,
Well, look at here's my argument for that is you look at the wingers that McDavid loves to play with, right? Like McDavid comes into the league as a kid early on, and the Oilers are like, "Hey, like, who do you want to play with the most as a winger?" What's his answer? Milan Lucic. I want a Milan Lucic playing on my wing, right? Like, you look at who he's playing with now. He's playing with Zach Hyman. Like, Zach Hyman, he's got a hell, he's got a whole lot of skill, but Zach Hyman also will go in the corners and get the puck for McDavid. Like, look, I think Tom Wilson, dude, the guy's gonna be a wrecking ball out there. I think Tom Wilson is the guy on the line where it's like he's gonna be going in there, getting the puck for McDavid and Celebrini, and just causing a shitstorm in front of the net.
the one thing I will say when we haven't really talked about like the replacements, right? Like bringing in Jarvis. I think we
Yep.
might have talked about Bennett. I'm not really sure, but I like Jarvis a lot, but I kind of felt like if they were going to go that route, they should have just brought Hyman and
Yeah.
stapled him to McDavid. Because the one thing I will say is people rip that kind of stuff, especially with the Crosby Kunitz thing. But like, what is one of the hardest things to do at a tournament like this? Find
Gel.
chemistry,
Yeah.
right? It's like you already have one of the best players being able to gel with another guy, and it's like it's not like he's playing bad; he's playing really well, right? So
Yeah.
I understood why they didn't name him at first, and then I do like Jarvis, and I think he can make a difference. But I think if they were going to go down that route and not bring another center, it probably could have been Hyman, but. Tom Wilson could be for sure a guy that sticks with McDavid, right? And it's like, dude, that guy's going to be walking out there with his shoulders 5 feet higher that he knows that he has Tom Wilson on his line. Same with
Yep.
Celebrini, dude,
Yep. Like
right?
that's what I love about the first line. To be honest, like I think with the other lines, like the second line through the third line, we'll see some shuffling there throughout the tournament. Like we kind of saw it during Four Nation face off last year. But I think this first line with Celebrini, McDavid, Tom Wilson, like I think that is honestly one of the most perfect lines I've ever seen. Like I love it. You got everything you need there, man. Um, for four to the tournament though, getting back to that, four to the tournament, I'm going Connor McDavid. I think like we see it time in, time out. This guy performs under the biggest spotlights and in the biggest moments. I think he's going to do that once again here for Team Canada. I got I got Connor McDavid as the forward of the tournament.
What do
Mark,
you think about? I was gonna say, what do you think
go
about
ahead.
people ripping McKinnon for his comments? Did you see what he said?
I no, I did not.
So they basically just asked him about everything and are you gonna take it all in and enjoy everything? And he basically was like, no, like I'm here to win.
I
And
love
people
that
are
dude.
kind of just
It's the
like
Nate dog.
I get that people it's a different event and like people mingle and talk to each other and it's not like I
Yeah,
don't think he's gonna go out there and avoid people, but he's probably just not gonna go out of his way to do stuff, right? Like
yeah,
he's there for a goal, right? Like and people are saying he's like a psychopath, and I'm like, I don't give a fuck. If that was me, call me a psychopath all you want, dude. Like I want that on a guy on my team,
yeah.
right?
And
Like
like
I want him to go out there and give his balls to the wall and play hard every night.
to be honest too, I think since it's Nate Dogg too, people maybe hear that and they just envision the guy sitting in his room in the dark, just fucking visioning, having visions about like the gold medal game, all for the Olympic break. But like, man, like today, I think they were just out at the speed skating event, all of Team Canada as a team, right? Like they're still going out there and having fun and supporting other Canadians. I just think it's like, to be honest, like what athlete? There's not one athlete at the Olympics, to be honest, that is going over there looking at it, going, "Man, I cannot wait to mingle with all these other athletes. Fuck my event that I'm going to compete in for once in a lifetime and have dreams of winning the gold medal." Like, I'm here to mingle and have a good time with other athletes, right? It's like if McKinnon says that, who cares, man? Like the guy's there. He's on a business trip at the end of the day, right? The guy's there to win a gold medal for his country. Let the guy live. Mark, I want to ask you my last thing here for the men's ice hockey. For the playoff medal games, if overtime is needed, pardon me, playoff and medal games if overtime is needed. No matter what, it's a 3-on-3. What are your thoughts on that? Personally, I fucking hate this.
No, I don't like it at all, dude. I think they got to get
Yeah.
rid of it. I don't think that an event so big should be decided on a, how do I say this? Like it's almost like a sequence that doesn't reflect the rest of the game, if that makes
Yeah.
sense, right? Like because you're playing the whole game at 5-on-5, despite a couple penalties here and there, and then you're just changing the complete style of the game. I just don't really think. Look, you can say a 5-on-5 overtime doesn't reflect who the better team is, but I also think the 3-on-3 just proves it even less. Right.
Yep.
I think with a 5-on-5, it's just more you're continuing to doing what you're doing. You're probably being a lot more conservative defensively, but it's still a grind. It's a grind. It could be fucking 1, 2, 3 overtimes, right? But
Yep.
with the 3-on-3, it's a lot more skilled base and probably a lot more strategy that goes into it. But I would just really prefer it to be 5-on-5. But I am happy that the medal games won't end in a shootout because that's even
Yeah.
worse.
For me though, I look at this too and I hate this, man. I hate that it's 3-on-3. When I look at my lifetime and the two biggest goals I've seen for Team Canada, it's Sid the Kid in 2010, and it's probably McDavid at last year's Four Nations face-off, right? Both of those were 5-on-5. And just think about how electric those overtimes were, right? Like last year, especially the Four Nations face-off, if that's a 3-on-3 overtime, like to be honest, that game probably ends a whole lot sooner than it does. And it might
I
even
can't
make
even
it
tell you
longer,
Canada would
right?
have won the game.
Yeah, like USA probably ends it there, and Jordan Binnington maybe struggles making one of those saves that he made. It's like you have a best on best tournament for the first time in forever. I think everything about this tournament is perfect, and then I read this 3-on-3 rule, even for the gold medal game, and I'm like, man, if it like if whoever wins gold in overtime in 3-on-3, like it's just not gonna hit the same, dude. It's not gonna feel the same as winning if it was 5-on-5 in overtime. It's like the way I kind of compare it is like, could you imagine an Olympic ski jump if you had a tie for the top two jumpers, and then it's like, you know what, the tiebreaker is gonna be you do the ski jump, but you guys both go backwards. It's like what the fuck, like it doesn't have anything to do with it, right? It's like 3-on-3 isn't actual hockey. If you want to see 3-on-3, make a fucking 3-on-3 tournament at the Olympics. I hate this for the Olympics, and I really hope it doesn't end disastrous, and we see it really have a big outcome here. Mark, moving on to our last segment of the show, we got guess the player for today. Do you want to guess, or do you want me guessing first?
Yeah, I'll guess first. You can go for it.
Okay, I'm just pulling the timer up right now. You're gonna have a minute 30 seconds here to guess the player that I have in front of me.
So I can only ask you questions that you can answer yes or no as well.
Yep.
Okay.
Timer starts now.
Are they in the Eastern Conference?
No.
Are they in the Pacific Division?
No.
Are they participating in the Olympics?
Yes, they are.
Central Division participating in the Olympics. Are they on the Dallas Stars?
No.
Colorado?
No.
Utah?
No.
Okay. St. Louis?
No.
Winnipeg?
No.
Holy fuck. Minnesota?
No.
Nashville?
Yes.
Roman Yossi?
Yes, it is Roman Yossi.
Okay.
I wanted to go with a Swiss guy, you know. I had to represent the other homeland, so Roman Yossi was my player of the day today.
Sounds good. Let me know when you're ready and I'll start my timer.
Mark, I'm ready whenever.
All right, you're going.
First question, are they at the Olympics this year?
Yes, they are.
They are. Mark, the team that they're on, are they in Group A at the Olympics?
Yes.
Okay. Is it a French speaking country?
Yes.
Is it Alexander Texier?
Yes.
Yep. Let's go, dude.
I knew you were going to get it pretty fast once you narrowed down the Group A
The
thing.
group, yeah. Well, and I was like,
I mean,
it's either gonna,
do they speak any French in Switzerland though, or no?
yeah, yeah.
That's why I was like, does this really narrow it down that much unless you like straight out guess Texier? Because I'm like, realistically, you're only taking Czechia out of the equation.
I guess kind of Canada as well.
Well, that's what I was
I
thinking. I
guess
was
it
like,
could have been
Canada,
Canadian now.
France. Well,
It's
yeah,
yeah.
100%, right?
Looking back, maybe that wasn't my best question, but I was kind of looking at it like, okay, it's gonna be a guy in Switzerland or France, and then I was looking at him like, oh, it's gonna be Texier, you fucking you Habs homer.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah,
gotta
no,
give him some love though, bro. You know.
Switzerland, dude, they speak French, they speak German. There's also an Italian speaking part of France, and then there's another language that they speak that I can't remember right now, but it's some like older one that's not many people there speak anymore. So overall, though, that is going to wrap up today's episode. Next week, Mark, will probably still have a round robin game left in the tournament. If not, we'll be kind of right there going into the qualifying games for before the
Well, so
quarterfinals.
sorry to interrupt you.
Go
February
ahead.
15th, Sunday is the last round robin, and then they got a day off Monday.
Works
And then
perfect, dude.
Tuesday they start the qualifying games. Tuesday, Wednesday is the quarters, and then Friday semi, Saturday bronze, Sunday the 22nd is the gold medal game.
Beauty, that works perfect. So yeah, next week we'll be recording Monday. Episode will be out Tuesday. There, try to get it out before the first games with the time change. It might be a little hard, but stay tuned for that. But for everybody listening in right now, thanks for tuning in.